Yeah, man, sup purples, my name is Bass Beats. Today we're checking out the Liven Bass Beats latest Liven machine from Sonicware. It's essentially a drum machine, sample-based drum machine on one track with all of these different drum sounds in it, paired together with a bass synthesizer, a wavetable bass synthesizer, highly powerful one. What is it like to work with? Matter of fact, let me just show you the thing in action and then we will discuss a little bit the summarization of it. Let us go. Let us have a look-see at the workflow of this thingamajig right here that is closest to be described as the fizzy bubble groove box right here. We have two tracks to work with. That is the bass synthesizer track and the drum track. They can both play at the same time. You have 8 slots of drums in here that you can shift between. You can't actually play between them simultaneously at the same time, but you can shift between them quickly and conveniently if you wanted to switch out kits. You can of course edit the drum kits, edit the bass kits, the bass synthesizer sounds, and you can sequence them together and you can add some nice effects to it. That is essentially what this groove box is. Let us have a look-see at it. First of all, let us have a look-see at how to play sounds back. Let's press bass right here. Matter of fact, let's choose a pattern first. Press pattern right here. Now these two buttons light up in green, meaning that you can choose between different banks. There's 8 banks of patterns right here. Number 1 and number 2 are full of demo patterns that you can have a listen to if you want to. I'm not going to do that in this video. There's plenty of videos where they do that. In each bank here, in each Santander, as you would also call them, these represent the different patterns in them. So each bank has 16 patterns. Let us pick from bank number 3, pattern 1. So that's bank number 3, pattern 1. Okay, so it plays back. Now you can see we're on the bass track right here. Pressing the keys will let you motherfucking play, and these will shift the octaves if you want to go lower down, for example. This is a bass synthesizer, so generally you would like to be a little lower down in the octave. And if you want to switch the presets quickly, you can just use this knob up here. While these other knobs are assigned to different parameters of the bass synthesizer sound. Let's have a look-see at the drum track here instead. Now when we load that up, it is like a drum kit right here in front of our hands, you know what I'm saying? Now, the drum kit has 2 different modes. You can play it in the pad mode. That will have all the drum sounds spread out before you're like this. Kick, snare, hi-hat. Cymbal 1, cymbal 2, some extra sounds in there. But you can actually also play it in select mode. Now, notice here I'm pressing shift is for the alternative function of all the knobs. Well, function is the alternative functions of all the buttons here. It is a little bit confusing. You would get used to it as you play around with it for a little while. Over here is a little mixer section. So let's play back this pattern again, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I think you will understand what the fuck is going on when this is happening. Let's just reload that pattern up again. Effects. Yes, you get the idea. That is a simple mixer, one for the bass track and one for the drum track. And there's also a third knob that controls the line in. If you connect something in here, you can listen to the audio coming through into the Liven and out from the main output. This would be control the volume of that with a third knob, you know what I'm saying? That is the basics of it. Mixer here, parameters of the sound right here, some more global parameters here, a value knob for switching values, which we'll get into a little bit more later. You can hop between some different places here, activate the effects, turn them on and off, use the parameter lock. We're going to go through that later also. Switch between the bass and the drum tracks and pick a pattern. That's pretty much it. And for all of these, they have different banks also that you can go through. Let's make a pattern from scratch to get this a little bit more banged into your brain skull. Getting started, first time you look at this, it's absolute gibberish. It doesn't really matter if you've learned another synthesizer before. It's not going to help you out a lot. Of course, it's going to help you out a little, but the logic of these Sonicware machines are a little bit in their own world. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you learn one electron device and you will probably pick up on another one pretty quickly. But if you haven't used a Sonicware device before, it's a little bit more complicated. You know what I'm saying? First, let us repeat the procedure of picking a pattern, and this time we're going to pick a pattern that is totally empty, right? Press pattern there, and now we can check which bank we're on. Let's go to bank 3 again. I know pattern number 6 on bank 3 is empty, so we'll shoot for that one. Now let's play it back and see. Empty, yeah. First thing we want, generally when we're sequencing something, metronome is always nice. Let us start this pattern right here, keep it running. We won't hear anything, but if we hold down function and press metro, generalmente, now you'll see metro, it says up here, generalmente, in all of these menus, you'll use the value knob to change the value there. You can even change some of these settings. You can press them multiple times to access different functions, but right now we want to access the metro. Metro, metro, all right, turn it up. Now we have a click, we can hear the tempo, the burst party management, we are ready to make something. We're going to start with the drums this time around, actualmente. This button up here is where you find the burst party management setting of the pattern. Okay, so we have a guideline there, a steady stem, a forest to guide our beat making through. I would like to actually go for something around 160 burst party management. Now I'm pressing these buttons and I'm noticing that no drum sounds are appearing from out of the machine. I'm not sure what the hell is going on. Again, I must remember that there are 2 different modes to the drum kits. Hold shift and press this, function and press pad right here to enter the pad mode. While this is the select mode where you select one at a time to use the pattern sequencer. Let's stay in the pad mode for now. And now we want to choose a drum kit. Number 1, remember, we have 8 different banks per pattern that we can store drum kits on. So right now it's on a bank number 1, but holding function and pressing this drum is going to shift between them. On number 1 right there, it says EDM 1. I fucking hate EDM, sorry, but I want to switch it out for something else, and there's plenty of drum kits inside of here. DNB I like a little bit more. Trance, hip hop, break beats. Nice, we can go with that. Now as that is selected, we can actually record in real time if we want to. Or we can step sequence. Let's do a little bit of both. Let's first record real time. We're going to record only the snare to have something to lean on. Here at this point, let me tell you, you cannot double patterns at this moment. That is something I would very much like. You cannot, so make sure that when you're making your patterns, decide on the length beforehand. And right now this is just 1 bar. This is 16 steps. We can change the length of it by going into function and pattern drum here. The drum pattern and the bass pattern, the bass pattern, I'm sorry, very sorry about that. They have separate lengths. So you can have a drum pattern on one pattern that spans over 2 or 4 bars, while the bass pattern is looping 1 bar only. For example, por ejemplo. So, function, drum, you'll see length appear up there. It says 16 right now, that is 16 steps. Let's go with 32 steps in this case. That is 2 bars. Okay, we like that. Now, you could also actually, matter of fact, change one more thing, and that is how the resolution of this. I mean, it's 32 steps right now, but if we hold function and press this twice, press the drum twice, it says note. Now, it's at 16th notes. That means that This represents 1 bar. This is 16 steps, but we can also make it represent 32 steps. That's going to make it play back double the time, or also half the time. So pretty much this is the resolution of your pattern. Take note that the length is also representialized by these 2 buttons here. This is the first bar, this is the second bar. And if you click it once, that hops to the first bar. Click this one once, that's the second bar. Click it twice, you're now on the third bar. Click this one twice, you're on the fourth bar. Maximum of 4 bars, maximum. Amazing. See, this one is lit up right now. This means that we do actually have even 2 bars in here. But if we change the length again, press function and press drum until it says length and pull it back down to 16. Now this one is gray. There's no length that lives in here. The pattern doesn't live over here anymore. But now it does. So that was indeed the live mode of the drums. Let's check out the select mode instead. Hold down function and press select here. Now we are on the snare right now. Playing it back, you'll see the step sequencer running for its life right here. It's actually pretty incredible. Say I wanted to add some kick drums in there. Now I can't really preview it, which sucks a little bit. I might be missing out on something. Please let me know in the comments if I'm missing out on something. But I will hop back into the pad mode to preview the sound and see which one I'm about to sequence. So let's pick this kick right here. Now we can press the recording button right there and start to paint. These 4 knobs up here can be used to quickly change the volume. They're sort of like sub-mixes of the drum group. So when you're in a drum group, a drum kit, whatever you should call it, you can adjust the volume of the kicks right here, the snares right here, the hi-hats there, and other various sounds there. They can be assigned to which bus, if you will, they should be assigned to. And you can do that in the drum kit edit, which we're going to go through later. But if you want to quickly change the volume of the hi-hats, for example, which are very loud right now, terribly ugly pattern, but you get the idea. So if I want to add some effects to this right now we can go ahead and turn off the metronome. Actually, hold function and press metro, turn it down, voilance. We can press here the effects button and the effects are going to be turned on. Which effect, you wonder? Well, let's pick one. Hold function and press this effect. And you'll notice as we scroll through this here carousel that there's a bunch of different effects. Let's try the bit crush effect, which is represented by these letters. And see what happens when we pull this effect knob. Nothing right now. That is because we need to choose how much of the drums are going to go through this effect right here. So as you can notice beneath the mixer right here on the drum track, it says effects. That is a shift function. So hold shift right there and twist this knob all the way up. Now, this is not guaranteed that we're going to have any effect. Because you can also define how much of each individual sound in a drum kit gets sent through the effect in the drum kit edit, which we'll have a look at a little bit more later. In this here step sequencer for the drums, you can also automationalize per step level with a parameter lock, which is rather magnificent. For example, right here where we have this ugly streak of hi-hats, let's say we wanted to change the velocity of them, some of those, so we get some little bit more animation in there. All you would need to do is hold down function here and press the parameter lock, which will activate parameter record. You see it's red right now. Now let's hop back into the editing mode of the step sequencer. Unselect these tracks. Now as I press 1 and hold down Shift to access the alternative knob function right about around here and change the velocity of the notes I enter, this information will be stored. Same can be done for really any of these parameters right about around here. Now, as you've gotten this far, it's a good idea to save your pattern, because it will be very annoying if you step to another pattern and you try to go back to this one, because it will be gone. You have to actually make sure that you save your patterns. So hold down Function and press Pattern. See, it says Save beneath that button right about around there. Pressing OK, these buttons in general is cancel and OK. Clear and OK. Sometimes you clear stuff, sometimes it's cancel. Right now they light up red and green, clear and OK. So press OK to save it. Now it is done. As we step to another pattern, by pressing Pattern and 1, for example, we hear one there. Let's go back to the one that we just made before and see if it's there. Oh yeah. Wonderful, it is saved. Let us have a look-see at another pattern operation that behaves a little bit peculiarly in the world of the Liven Bass Beats, and that is copying patterns. Because you will copy a track, either the bass track or the drum track, as you copy a pattern. Let's have a look at it. Go into pattern right there, and now I want to copy. So I look for copy where it can be, okay? Function, copy. Now I have actually copied this pattern, but I have not actually, just simple as that, copied this pattern. Bass selected. That means I've copied the bass track of that pattern. But I actually wanted the drums. I would have preferred to have both of them at the same time, but I want the drums. So let's pick the drums now. Okay, the drums are selected. Let's press again, hold Function and press copy. Now the drum track of that pattern should be selected. Now we can pick an empty one, for example, pattern number 7 here in bank 3. Hold Function and press paste. Now we should have these drums copied. Wonderful. The burst party management, as a matter of fact, you can tell it is not copied. So let's push that back to 160 burst party management. It's kind of my favorite right now of these past, 6 months or something like that. Now we don't really need to worry about fucking the original pattern up, and we can save this to make sure that that pattern is saved as well. And let's hop into the bass synthesizer, where some of the magic really is at in this one. Going into the bass, like I mentioned before, patterns can have separate lengths. The bass pattern and the drum pattern can have 2 different individual independent lengths. Right now this drum pattern is 2 bars long, I believe. Yeah. As you can tell on the drum track, we have these 2 buttons light up, 1 bar, 2 bars. Going into the bass track, only 1 is lit up. So 16 steps right here are activated on the lengthwise. Let's say we wanted it to be instead 2 bars. Hold down Function and press bass next to pattern right there. Length pops up on the screen. Turn the value from 16 to 32 instead. Made it more nice. As you can see, you can potentially meant to run into many little obstacles of confusionalizing in the beginning as you're trying to learn how to operate this one, because it is a little bit unconventional. But once you get the grip of it, once you get the hang of it, everything flows rather quickly. Selecting a bass sound. Use this knob right here. Just take something that catches your inspiration at the moment. Okay, I like that bass synthesizer right there, but I do need the length to be actually 4 bars this time around. We remember how to do that. Hold function and press bus, and we go from 32 steps to 64 instead, and that is the maximum amount of steps that you can have in one pattern. If you want to make more advanced, longer sequences than that, you need to divide it up into 2 different patterns and do the copy procedure that I showed you just before. In the bus mode, when you press the bus button right here multiple times, it switches between mono and legato. If you have a legato, you're not going to really hear a difference until you hold function and press glide and select how long this glide you want to. How long you want the glide to be. This is quick select for the glide. You can do it from somewhere in the menu here also. But this is the quick way to choose the glide. Either you just toggle between these preset steps, no legato, or very short. Long one, legato. Having it set to mono, that's going to re-trigger the sound every time you press a new. Difference? Okay, let's have a stab at recording that. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now that we have this amazing little pattern, let's say we wanted to deep dive a little bit deeper into the editing of these sounds. We do have these macros on the front panel. But they really are just macros. If we want to edit the actual sounds, we have ultra powerful wavetable synthesizer in here. Now, first you want to take note of which sound it actually is, because you are not going to hop in straight into editing that preset. Take note of what the sound is called before you edit. It's IDMB. Okay. Now press function and memory edit. This is going to give us access to all of the sounds here. We have 8 banks of sounds, just like we have 8 banks of sounds on the drum channel, just like we have 8 banks of patterns, we have 8 banks of synthesizer sounds. I don't know where exactly this one is located, so we're going to look for it. IDM. This also, I don't know. Maybe you can hop straight into editing it. I did not find a way of doing that. Voilance, there it is, IDMB. We want to edit that. Now just press OK. And now, Voilance again. We have this Magnavox Odyssey overlay thing. Very cool. That gives us access to all of the parameters. A whole new world of editing the sounds. We have 2 oscillators right here. Oscillator 1, oscillator 2, sub-oscillator. You can edit the pitch, the phase, the position, the level, and the output of each of these oscillators separately. You have a noise channel right here. You can edit the level, the type of noise that you want for that. You can choose the type of filter that you want, the resonance for that filter, distortion on that filter, LFOs. You can assign 2 different knobs to different parameters in here. You have an ADSR envelope for the whole thing, for the mod EG1 and 2. I mean, starting up here, this is the main amp envelope. This is the default velocity. If you just want to bump the volume up a little bit, you can change the waveform of both of the oscillators right here, because it is a wavetable synthesizer, so you have a shitload of different waveforms to pick from here. Sub oscillator type over here. The master level of this memory slot. I mean, it is so deep that I'm not even gonna go into this shit here. You can make it very advanced bass synthesizer sounds using this. If I want to save this or just not save it, I can press either cancel or save right here. Press save. Okay, okay. Now it lets you input the name of the preset. If you want to change that, you can also save it to another slot. If we cancel that, press save again, and press this slot, for example, we can overwrite that, and voila, there you go, it's saved. Now we remove this one. Same thing goes for the drum kit. So if we are in the drums, hold function and press edit kit. Now we need to also select which kit we want to edit. So let's just say it was the dubstep 4 kit I wanted to edit. I select that, press OK. Now I'm in the edit mode. Now I slide over the Magnavox Odyssey overlay. In here I can change the tune of each sample. I can change the time of playback if I don't want it to play all the way throughout. There's a quick envelope right here to have a slower attack, shorter decay. This is a EQ for the entire drum kit. You can choose how much of the drum kit is sent out to the effects. You can set the pan of the sample. You can assign it to different categories. So a kick doesn't necessarily need to be a kick. We can choose for the kick to be a snare, and we can totally customize each kit. So for this snare, for example, we can pick another snare sample. And that about covers most of the basics. Since this is a drum and bass oriented groove box right here, there's also a quick knob for ducking right here. This will duck to the kick drum. So let's hop to another pattern where that's a little bit more clear. Performance-wise, there's a few things that you can do also to perform with this. You could chain it together with other devices, obviously, using these line in and outputs. You can sequence it and sync it by MIDI. You can also use this mute function right here. Hold function and press the last button. Now we're in the mute mode. Now we can mute individual sounds in the drum kit. Use the mixer. Beauty. If you've made several different patterns that you want to chain together, you can double press this pattern and then just press them in the order you want to sequence them and play it back, and it's going to do exactly what you told it to do. Let us summarize this and start with the bad stuff first. Number one, it is a very complex machine. That is a good thing and a bad thing. As a bass synthesizer, it's very complex. You can edit all the parameters, you can shape the sound in various advanced ways. Bad thing about that is that it's not very intuitive at all. Like I said before, it doesn't really matter if you're very familiar with any synthesizer or drum machine before. This was still gonna put you upside down on your head trying to figure out how to do things without reading the manual. So you do need to read the manual or look up on some tutorials and be ready to spend some time trying to learn the logic of this thing. For me, that is a little bit of a bummer. It's a little bit annoying. It's a workflow killer. Usually I like the machine that entices me to just pick it up and start pressing things and figuring things out on my own without even having to look at a tutorial. It has to be fun enough experience like that. This does not quite have that, but once you get the hang of it, it is very quick to get around. The ELZ one, it gets away with that because it is a little bit more visual. It displays more on the screen. You understand what you're doing. This, you do need to read the manual to understand how it's going on, or watch this video or any of the other good videos that are out there. The build quality, a little bit flimsy, kind of comes along with the price tag though, so I am happy with what it is for what it is. And for me personally, I like all-in-one groove boxes. This one does need a friend in most cases. For me, a bass track and a drum track, it's not enough. Also, what comes along with this price tag is no USB connection, so something like updating it is very cumbersome. You have to do it with MIDI sysx, connected via MIDI, and send the sysx information over, wait for like half an hour for it to update. And also same thing for backing up sounds and patterns and things of that nature. It's a little bit Middle Ages in that sense. Good things about the Bass Beats, it is a sweet price for what you get with this. You get a lot for your money, you get a lot of bang for your buck. It is ultra lightweight, ultra portable. It has its limited, you can't import your own samples, so you're kind of, for me this is a little bit nice because it forces you to just pick a kit and go with that and just play around with it, and you know, it's very nice. If you like step sequencers, I think you will like this one. What I would enjoy to see in the Bass Beats in the future update, if perchance, by any chance there's one coming out like that, I would like to see a kit editor where you can actually import your own, edit your kits on the computer and import them into here. And also a way to double patterns. I would like to make one bar and then just double that, have an exact copy of that. Much faster way of sequencing if there's some double patterns, functionalizability in it. That is it for me for this video. Shout out to all of my Patreons. Thank you to watching, subscribe, and watch that channel. Join us in the Discord, the Black Hole, for the weekly beat challenges. Okay, bye-bye.